Tom Cruise is a force of nature. The fact that that man, who has such a divisive, if not full-on infamous personality in reality, can time and again appear on screen and get me to not only root for his characters, but actually identify with them, well, that takes a special kind of talent. And his charisma and goodness has even been able to transcend the badness of some of the films he's appeared in as well. And not to give away how I feel about The Mummy, but that certainly was the case with this film as well. Whenever Tom Cruise was on screen, whether delivering some cocky line, getting in over his head, cracking some joke, performing some outstanding stunt, getting really intense, or just sprinting down a hallway, I couldn't help but at least be mildly entertained by him. And part of that just comes from this man's passion, which is palpably perceivable in every single film that he does. And another part of it comes from the fact that he's able to balance being these defined characters and also being kind of this blank slate onto which we, the audience, can project our thoughts and emotions, which again just allows us to engage with and connect with him all the more. So let me use my praise of Cruise to discuss a few of the other elements that I enjoyed with The Mummy. Number one, whether or not they played into the film as a whole and complemented the entire narrative, there were still a number of moments that were undeniably enjoyable, just because of the lightness and fun that they captured. In this film's first act especially, like in so many Tom Cruise films, the actor did a great job of allowing us to actually laugh at him, knowing that that would consequently connect us to his character later on in the film. Because, like the man himself, his character of Nick was a bit cocky, a bit arrogant, and a bit annoying, making it cathartic in a way to see him made a fool of and humbled by failure earlier on in the film. And whether scrambling to figure out who this mummy character was, what kind of curse she'd placed on him, and if he would ever be able to break it, Cruise owned those humiliations. Then of course we saw action star Tom Cruise, who, if a director knows what's best for him and his film, will simply be framed up in a wide shot and allowed to punch, jump, drive, and run around the screen. And for all of his rookie mistakes, first-time director Alex Kurtzman did do this a couple of times in his film. And though the final sequence didn't extend much beyond what we'd already seen in the trailers, there were a couple of really great extended shots during the plane crash sequence that made it clear that that was done for real, in an actual plane in actual zero gravity, and it was really cool to see. And so, after endearing us to him with some humiliating humor and then impressing us with him with some heart-stopping action, Cruise attempted to connect us to him with some really climactic, intense drama. And I will say, on a conceptual level, where they brought his character to by the end of this film was interesting, out of context feeling powerful and tragic, and creating a compelling conclusion to a would-be character arc. And in those final moments anyways, Cruise, as he always does, really committed himself, helping us to feel the gravity and depth of that growth. And while I'm talking about the acting, I suppose I should say that Russell Crowe was good as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and that I did enjoy how they presented the latter of those two personalities, the character not lost in an overabundance of makeup or hammy acting. And especially considering how little she was given, I thought that Annabelle Wallis did a really solid job as well. Unfortunately, beyond those actors' performances and those aforementioned positive elements, the rest of this film just fell so flat. It wasn't that I found it offensive or some sort of abomination, it was just so misguided and so flat. It was one of those films that, until the last 15 minutes, felt like it hadn't really started. It was constantly establishing new piece of information after new piece of information that the characters were just reacting to versus acting upon, which made everything feel like, except for those last 15 minutes, just one long extended prologue. Here's this ancient artifact that will be important. Here's this enchanted piece of weaponry that will come into play. Here's this crucial location that will be a place of interest. Here's this new character that will have his own film in a couple of years. And here's this secret society that will be important to this franchise going forwards. And not only did that make this entire film just feel like one big setup for a larger universe, it also robbed so many of its elements of any sort of self-contained satisfaction. So Sofia Boutella's Mummy, the title character, was really a non-character. As physically strong as that actress was in all of her action sequences, on the page she was this weak character, never given any relatable desires or, at the top of the film, shown to have any valid reason for calling upon this ancient evil to enact them. Furthermore, that dramatic ending that I was referring to earlier was really robbed of any power when viewed in context with the rest of the film. Its significance and meaning really hanging on the relationship between Jenny and Nick, a relationship that the film barely tried to get us to believe in a genuine way up to that moment. And genuineness was something else that this film was sorely lacking, constantly hiding behind quote-unquote humorous characters and silly one-liners, all of which robbed it of any compelling reality. And finally, there were the horror film slash thriller elements that Kurtzman just could not pull off as a director. Even as he numerous times paid homage to films like The Birds and Jaws, he seemed to have learned next to nothing from Hitchcock and Spielberg about the importance of building suspense and withholding something from the audience as to increase the tension. Every sequence, the bad guys were shown almost immediately, and we were just made to wait for them to carry out yet another cartoony attack against our heroes. All of which just makes me sad because I really wanted the first chapter in this Dark Universe franchise to be an excellent one and to kick things off in a strong way, but now I'm afraid it might not even be successful enough to allow this franchise to continue at all. Nonetheless, I still have to give the film only a 2 out of 5. I would love to know what you guys thought of the film though, so definitely comment below and let me know. And finally, please do subscribe. I'm going to continue to review films and television on this channel, and I would love for you to stay up to date on all of those things. But for now, I'm Chris Hartwell. This is The Heartbeat. Thank you for joining me.